Hello everyone, I'm Cynthia Ruth, and in this video I will share with you 4 awesome classroom games that provide fun ways to engage your students in academic learning. Also, don't miss my bonus game at the end of this video. So if this video is for you, let's get right to it.
Welcome to Ruth Straight Talk, the channel designed to help teachers, parents, and students live fuller lives, become lifelong learners, and grow into the awesome human beings you were designed to be.
Incorporating fun classroom games into your lesson plan offers a simple way to motivate your students and encourage them to draw on their creativity and imagination. Game number 1, Charades. This simple but classic game is a great way to encourage your students to get out of their seat and participate in the lesson. Here's how it's played. Select a student to stand at the front of the room and act out a word from your list. The student is not allowed to speak. The rest of the class must then guess what the student is attempting to portray. Other students can shout out their guesses or put their hands up depending on your teaching preference. Whoever guesses correctly can act out the next word. A more challenging version involves the student describing a subject-specific word but restricted by a list of forbidden words. For example, they're describing habitat, but they're not allowed to use the word home or animals. Number 2, Hangman, a traditional but interactive game that improves students' spelling and subject knowledge, but is also very enjoyable for the class. You will need a whiteboard, a pen, or an interactive whiteboard, plus a list of subject-specific words to inspire the student. Here's how the game is played. Divide your class into 2 teams, then select a student to stand at the front of the class and think of a word related to the lesson. Or you could even give them a suitable word. The student must then draw spaces on the whiteboard to represent each letter of that word. The rest of the class then guesses the word one letter at a time, allowing one student from each team to guess alternately. Incorrect guesses result in a hangman being drawn one line at a time. The first team to guess the word wins, and unless the hangman is completed, the game then repeats with another student thinking of another relevant word. If you feel hangman would not be appropriate, then use a different image, either a subject-specific or think creatively, for example, a spaceman or a snowman. Game number 3, Categories. This fun game will encourage your students to think outside of the box and draw on a range of subject knowledge. You will need pieces of paper, pens, pencils, a list of subject-specific categories, for example, Earth and space. That would be the topic, and the category could be rocks, landforms, weathers, or even a solar system. Here's how the game is played. Split students into small groups and ask them to note down the categories on their piece of paper. Choose a letter, A to Z, at random, and give students 1 to 2 minutes, depending on how many categories, to think of a word for each category beginning with that letter. Once the time is up, allocate points for unique answers. That is, if 2 teams write down the same word for a category, then neither get any points. Repeat the game with a different letter. For example, the letter is M, and the topic is Earth and space. You could have the category rocks with metamorphic, or landforms, mountains, weather would be mist, solar systems would be Mars. You could even expand on this class On this lesson, if your class only has a small number of students, then they could fill in the categories individually rather than working as a team. Number 4, bingo. A quick and simple game that never fails to motivate students to learning. You will need whiteboards and pens or pencils, plus a list of subject-specific terms or concepts, for example, numbers, phonics, key vocabulary, scientific formula, or historical figures. Here's how the game is played. Ask the students to draw a 6x6 grid on their whiteboards or pieces of paper. Then select 6 words or images from the list given to draw or to write into their grid. You must then randomly select a word from the list to describe, and students must guess the word in order to cross it off in their grid if it's present on their particular grid. Continue describing different words until one student successfully completes their grid and shouts, "Bingo!" You can also award a prize for the first student who gets 3 in a row. An alternate to this game, students can insert their own subject-related answers into the bingo grid, but this makes it more challenging for you due to the extensive word choice and ambiguity. Also, if you have more time, then you could create your own bingo boards with specific vocabulary or concepts that you are covering in the lesson. These bingo boards can be reusable. The bonus game, puzzles. This creative group game encourages students to work together and visualize academic concepts in an abstract way. You will need some images, words, calculations, or concepts printed or stuck on cards, papers that are cut into random shapes like jigsaw puzzle pieces. For example, math calculations, chemical equations, subject vocabulary, historical figures, etc. And here's how you play the game. Separate your class into groups or use simple table groupings. Then hand out a puzzle for each group to piece together. In addition, students can create their own puzzles on the computer or draw onto cards, papers for their peers to complete. So there you have it, several great games that your students will enjoy while learning content and or possibly reviewing for a test.
Thank you so much for visiting with us at ruthstraighttalk.com. If this video has helped you, please like us and leave us a comment at the bottom of the screen. And please subscribe to my channel for more great videos like this one. Until next time, happy learning and goodbye.